Can Jordan Travis get Florida State back on track in the national championship picture after nearly a decade of underachievement? Will Drake May continue his upward trajectory with hopes of being college football star? Or will it be Cade Klubnik looking to answer the questions surrounding the Clemson program stemming from last season? Stay tuned to hear our thoughts on the ACC's best quarterbacks.
Welcome back to Clash of Cultures. We continue our 2023 college football preview. Today's topic will be the ranking of the ACC quarterbacks. But before we get into football, like always, we want to thank you guys for all the love and support you've shown as we've climbed over 700 subscribers. We appreciate the journey. We appreciate the love. So please continue to press that like and subscribe button. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think of this video or other videos, what you'd like to see in the future and what we can do better. But with that being said, let's jump into our, before we even get into that, let's jump into our trivia. So, Stephen, you did this once. I'm going to do this now. I'm going to name the team. You tell me the name of their stadium. The Washington Huskies. That's right near you.
No idea.
No idea?
No clue.
Alaska Airlines Field at Husky Stadium.
I was not getting that, bro. All
right. A team that was in the national championship last year. TCU.
Bro, what kind of trivia is this, bro? I have no idea this one either. This is the worst trivia responses.
Amon G. Carter Stadium. All right. Oregon. You should get this one.
Autzen Field.
Okay. Boy, I was like, boy, how you don't get this one?
Autzen.
All right. Here we go. Texas A&M.
Kyle Field.
Okay. All right. And then one last one.
So I'm 2 for 4 right now.
One last one. All right. We're going to go to Utah.
Oh, I don't know this one, bro. What is it? I have no idea.
I knew this one. Rice-Eccles Stadium.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know that one. So, yeah, that was a terrible trivia by me, fellas. Ladies and gentlemen, I should say.
Pretty popular teams.
No, I did not know TCU Stadium. That is crazy. But to get in, before we get into the ACC top 5 quarterbacks, the comment of the day goes to Daniel Dill. He says, bold prediction, Washington goes undefeated, wins the national title. Penix wins the Heisman. Kalen DeBoer will be coach of the year. I don't know if I pronounced their coach right, but that's his.
Hey, that's not shocking. I could. Let me say I don't believe it's going to happen, but I could see it. They have all the tools.
Yeah, let us know what you guys think down below. Any bold predictions you guys have, so you guys can be featured on the comment of the day. But nonetheless, we'll get into talking about the ACC quarterbacks. I'll go first. My number 5 quarterback coming into the 2023 season from the ACC conference is going to be Riley Leonard from Duke. We talked a little bit about him in the most underrated and overrated teams a couple of days back. He's coming back after having a 3,000-yard, 20 touchdown, 6 interception season. Ran for another, how many touchdowns? 8 touchdowns, 9 touchdowns last year? I don't know off the top of my head. Let me look it up really quick. Yeah, So he ran for 13 touchdowns last year as well. That's a pretty good season. When you're talking about a quarterback who's kind of been flying under the radar in the ACC. Duke doesn't get talked about enough. Obviously, they're a basketball school, so they don't really get much attention when it comes to football side of things. They play Clemson, my Tigers, on week 1, I believe on Labor Day, the only Monday night game that day. So that's going to be a good one. I was watching another podcast saying, like, what would happen if they beat Clemson? That would be crazy. And that'd be his coming out party, really, for Riley Leonard if he was able to beat Cade Klubnik and the Clemson Tigers. But who is your number 5?
See, so let me say this first. The ACC, the bottom of the ACC quarterbacks, man, it was really tough. I think there's almost a ledge after a number of quarterbacks, and then we get to a place where, man, we're kind of guessing. My number 5 quarterback was Brennan Armstrong from NC State. Didn't necessarily have a great season last year, 2,000 yards, 7 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. But if you remember the year before that, he went for 4,500 yards and like 31 touchdowns. So I'm hoping in picking this. And again, I'm stretching this because the ACC quarterbacks in the bottom were a little rough. But I suspect that he's going to be able to get back to old form
Okay, who's your number 4?
So my number 4 is Garrett Schrader, the quarterback from Syracuse. So again, had a pretty good season last year, over 2,500 yards, 17 touchdowns in the air, to 7 interceptions. Again, not great numbers. I don't think he would be on any of my other conferences lists. But like I said, I think there's a big line to me between the top of the ACC quarterbacks. There are some good quarterbacks in the ACC, and some of these quarterbacks down here near the bottom.
So it's funny you named him. He did not make my list,
Oh,
but he didn't make my list. But he's a really good quarterback. When we played against him last year, when Clemson played against him, he was extending plays, having a lot of crazy plays on the ground and through the air. So it was between him and Riley Leonard for my number 5 spot, but I ended up choosing Leonard. But
okay.
Schrader is no slouch. He's a great quarterback.
That means I got somebody on my list you don't. So I'm excited to see.
So my number 4 is Tyler Van Dyke.
Okay, I don't have Van Dyke on the list. He was my honorable mention.
Okay, I have him on this list. Those of you guys who might say that I'm overrating him because of his last year performance, I thought last year was an anomaly. I don't think that's going to happen again. He was the ACC Rookie of the Year in 2021, had a stellar season there. They retooled the offense this year, brought in a new offensive coordinator. I think they're gonna be a more spread them out kind of offense. So I do think that Tyler Van Dyke has a better year this year. I don't think he's going to be at the likes of the Mays and Travises of the world and the upper echelon quarterbacks of his conference. But I do think he has a bounce back year. He completed 63% of his passes last year. That's not terrible. But I think that number is going to go up a little bit. Only 10 touchdowns and 5 picks. He did miss a lot of time. So I think he'll be able to kind of elevate those numbers this year. So that's why I have him at number 4. And I'll give my number 3 as well. My number 3 is Cade Klubnik. So obviously I'm a Clemson fan. I wouldn't really say this is a homer pick because I think he's better than the other quarterbacks that I named. But I don't think he's better than the 2 that I have above them. Obviously we don't have a large sample size to go off of. We saw flashes of greatness. But again, he wasn't the starter last year. He came in for a little bit to kind of spell DJ in rough times. Then he played against Tennessee. And he didn't look too good against Tennessee, obviously, through 2 picks, through 300 yards. But I think the talent is there. And like you said, when you talk about the kind of drop off in the ledge in the ACC, I think this is where, in my opinion, it kind of happens. I think you have the 2 quarterbacks up top at like I would say A tier, and then you have Cade Klubnik, and he's kind of like the gatekeeper. I feel like the rest are kind of below him. So that's why I ended up having him here.
Yeah, so if we had done it, Cade would have been my honorable mention. And again, for me, in evaluating him, I just need to see more. I think he has the potential, but I just need to see a little bit more. And that may go against the video that you saw yesterday with Joe Milton, but I think Joe Milton is such a physical specimen that it's a matter of, does all that come together to be a successful quarterback? I am almost certain that if we redo these rankings at the end of the year, that some Clemson quarterback is going to be in my top 5. But like I said, I think I need to see more from Cade to have put him in my top 5. He was my number 6. So my number 3 is Riley Leonard. I think not only all the things that Steven said, almost 3,000 yards passing, 20 touchdowns last year. When you look at what Duke has coming back, I think Duke is going to be a major player, and I think Riley is going to only increase these numbers. So he's my number 3 quarterback in the ACC next year.
And then who's your number 2?
And my number 2, and I think this is probably, 1 and 2 for us. Of course, I think are going to be the same. And I think they'll probably be in the same order. This is where I have Jordan Travis. So 3,200 yards passing last year, true dual threat, 24 touchdowns. I've said, and I'll just go ahead and name my number 1, and because I think it's pretty obvious.
We have the same ones, yeah.
But I just have to make this comparison, especially against something I said. So I went back and forth with 1 and 2. I think Drake May is a better quarterback. But I think I've said I think Drake May comes down a little bit in terms of numbers, and I think that's mostly because of talent around him. I think Jordan Travis is going to have a good season because of the talent around him. So again, I think Drake May's a better quarterback, a better NFL prospect. I think this may get much closer, especially as Jordan Travis is a dual threat. And I think he's going to do some damage on the ground. But I think Drake May is going to put up numbers. So when I say come down, I just mean come down from where he was last year, 4,300 yards. I think that may be closer to 3,800 yards or whatever the case may be. But I think Drake May is still the most talented quarterback in the ACC.
Yeah, we have them in the same order, Travis and then May. I thought when we decided to do this video, I thought it was going to be harder to rank the two. But after I kind of looked at their body of work, I didn't think it was very close. And I think May, 4,300 yards, 38 touchdowns, 7 picks. I mean, Travis didn't have a terrible year. Obviously, 3,200 yards, 24 touchdowns, 5 picks. I think the only argument that Travis could really have, let's say that they replicate the same numbers, and May has better numbers than him, is that if Travis is a more overall winner.
And that's kind of my thoughts. Is I think Travis has a higher potential to be in that Heisman conversation, in that Heisman race, simply because I think FSU is going to be in that picture, going to be a top 5 team, where I don't think that UNC is going. I think UNC will be a top 25 team. I don't suspect that UNC is going to be in that national championship picture for most of the season.
Yeah. But nonetheless, that is our ACC top 5 quarterbacks. Those of you guys who disagreed or agreed with us, let us know in the comment section down below. Again, if you guys have any bold predictions, any hot takes, anything like that, anything you guys just want to tell us, ask us, whatever the case may be, make sure you guys comment down below so you guys can be featured on the comment of the day. Those of you guys who are returning viewers, thank you so much for sticking around with us this long. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers where we're going to be doing another giveaway. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.